Hello, hello, welcome to Brew from the Bothy number 6. I am waving. Oh, we got a little thumbs up there. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And I discovered the other day, if I do the heart, sometimes I get heart symbols coming up. No, it's not going to do it today. Never mind. You can never control what the system actually wants to give you. Hello. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. It's been a fairly full-on 2 weeks. I think I say that every time because life is always just go. Like, there's always so much going on. I love ramming stuff into life and just going at it. But I'm kind of also ready for maybe a weekend off. That would be quite nice. It's beautiful sunny weather here, so I'm trying to maximise some of our time outside. We sat outside last night and had dinner, and then sat listening to an audiobook. We're on book 4 of the Thursday Murder Club, which I never really got into when everybody else was getting into the Richard Osman books, and now I don't know why I just didn't do it, because they are amazing. We have renamed them the Thirsty Joyce books though, so if you know the Thursday Murder Club books, you'll know what I'm talking about with Thirsty Joyce, because she's just like, she's just a bit of a perv basically for an old woman. She just basically wants a new life partner and finds almost every man really hot. So yeah, we listened to Thirsty Joyce last night. Shall we crack into it? I've got a little bit of knitting and some crochet designs for you to have a look at, for me to explain and talk through. I am wearing 0 designs and wools today because it's now hot enough that I just can't bear to put layers on, and I know that wool is more cooling, but I don't own a wool dress, but I do own like thin dresses, so that's where I'm going. I run really hot, so the minute the weather gets a little bit warmer, I just put as few clothes on as humanly possible. So whilst I would love to showcase some crochet and knitwear, I just can't. I can't do it. I can't make myself layer up. What I do have to show you though, because I promised that I would talk you through like my design process of the kin cardigan that I'm doing for the Journal of Scottish Yarns issue 8, and I thought I would just talk you through where I'm at with that so far. So I had a deadline of the beginning of May to get over a schematic, and what happens is every journal, every magazine has a completely different approach to how you work with them. So with the Journal of Scottish Yarns, before you've even sent them the sample, but when you've given them the baseline idea, they ask you to send over a schematic so they understand what it is that you're producing. So before you've even really started the sample, they can make sure that it's going to be what it is that they're looking for the journal. I also send that over with a table with presumed measurements, and they're only presumed because you really don't know what it's going to be until you get to the very end. So let me show you my very shoddy schematic that I sent over, because I am not good at drawing by any means. So this is my rubbish schematic. Basically, it's a waterfall cardigan, and you go from one sleeve up and over, do the back, do the front, continue with the back, and then pick up and you do the front and then join it too. So it's actually done in one piece, and then the ribbing here is done at the same time because it's done vertically, and then this collar I'm trying to do this backwards. This collar is added afterwards. So I know, because this is similar to the kin cardigan, that this whole piece works. What I need to work out is how the collar works. And I started swatching for it. So I told you last time that I would find you the yarn. Oh my word, look at this colour. This is like a proper, almost like a sea blue, like a deep sea blue. I love it. The yarn is Isuru, from the Mackenzie Farm Shop on mainland Shetland. This is Hazel's yarn. That colour is just such a rich blue, and it is a proper Shetland blue as well. The colourway is called Fjord. Fjord. I don't know where that came from. The colourway is called Fjord, and I've linked to it in the drop-down box if you want to have a look at Hazel's yarn. It's 100% Shetland wool. It's from Hazel's own flock, and it is soft. Like, there's a bit of crunch there, which you would expect from Shetland yarn, but when you wash and block it, it just softens up to another level. This is some of the softest Shetland wool I've ever worked with. This and the RiverKnits Shetland lace, also unbelievably soft. So if you think that Shetland wool is a bit too scratchety for you, I would say maybe have a play with this. And also Hazel does it in 10 gram, I think 10, 20 or 25 and 50 gram. I've got some on the cone just because we knew I was doing this design. I guess she'll sell it to you on the cone as well. But what that means is you can test it out and make sure it's for you without buying a 100 gram skein of yarn. So I thoroughly recommend giving this a little test out to see what you think of it. Now this is a teeny tiny swatch that I've done, and I'll show you it in a minute, but the reason that I only need to do a teeny tiny swatch is because obviously I've already swatched for this. I swatched the ribbing, I swatched the stitch pattern, because the kin cardigan is a riff on the kin jumper, which I think I was wearing last time out. So the sleeve ratio is going to be the same, more or less. It might stop a little bit prematurely because I want to put a cuff on it this time, but the whole premise is that instead of it being joined at the front, the stitch pattern will go a little bit further over, maybe towards like the shoulder blade on the other side, and then it's going to be a waterfall cardigan. That is the plan. But the specifics that I really need to work out with it is how I get the neckline right. So do I go straight across at the back or just do a little decrease, and then I start doing the decreases around the front? And what seems to happen with that is when you decrease at the front but you don't decrease at the bottom on the front, that's how you get the waterfall effect. And the reason I know that is because I actually have, it's much lighter weight, but this is a top tip if you're thinking about designing. I actually already own a waterfall cardigan, so I have measured this out, and I know that it basically is, there's no decrease at the bottom on the front, but the decrease just happens here on the front. Let's see if I can pull this out to show you. Yeah, so you can see. So I'm going to look to mirror this because I know that this waterfall and this ratio really works in this lightweight fabric. But what I need to make sure is that that will translate to a heavier weight fabric. And I think it will. But one of the things that I need to be wary of is that's the wrong side of my swatch, and this is the right side. The wrong side's not that pretty. So when I do the waterfall element, I need to make sure that it's going to waterfall, but that the wrong side isn't what comes forward. So the ribbing needs to be heavy enough but light enough that the ribbing will sit there, but it's not going to flip over like a lapel. So what on face value looks like quite a simple cardigan because it's a 2-row stitch repeat, there's a lot of thinking that has to go into it to get the sleeves the right size, because the sleeves are slightly longer than almost almond style. The way that I've designed it is that that actually takes in some of the bust circumference as well in the bigger sizes, which is tricksy. So I know that the arm span works, but then I really need to make sure that this bit works as well. Hopefully that makes sense, because if I don't get the curvature here where the ribbing will come in, because it's going to come up from the bottom, round and back down this side, and if I don't get that curvature right, then it will bumfle up here and it will just look unsightly, because it's wool, it's not lightweight like this one, so it's not just going to drape in the same way. So I know that I've got quite a lot of work. I mean, this is super thin. This is super fine merino with a silk top, so I'm swapping out silk for wool, so I just need to be really careful with how I do it. But top tip, if you're looking to design, look to your wardrobe at what it is that you already wear and you already like. And I would say actually that's a really good tip for when you're measuring up jumpers to make crochet or knitted. If you're not sure what size you want to make from the pattern that you're looking to work from, go to your wardrobe and measure up your favourite jumper or cardigan. Measure up the one that you feel really good in, that works across the bust, that works across your stomach, and use those measurements, because you know that they already work for you, they're comfortable, they're the right level of ease for you, and you feel really good in them, and then mimic that in the pattern that you're going from. So I'm going to continue with that. Actually, this afternoon I will hopefully be out in the garden under the shade, working on the beginnings of this, on the actual cardigan itself, which will be really nice. Obviously I will have an umbrella up. I will be covered in Factor 50 because I have what we call in Scotland peely bally skin, so I have to really protect myself. My dad had skin cancer a few years back, and we had the same, well, I have the same skin that he had, so like I just need to protect myself, but I will be sat out there making the most of the sunshine. So that schematic went off, that is gone, and then now I just need to charge through actually making the cardigan. So maybe next time I see you, I'm hoping that I will have the first sleeve done, and I'll be working up on this neckline so I can show you how that's going to work, and like talk through some of the process of what I've had to finagle, whether I had to do a little bit of a back decrease or go straight along. We'll see how that happens. But also I wanted to show you, again, if you're into design, or maybe a lot of patterns aren't just quite right for you and you want to do some tweaks, if you haven't come across this book before, sadly it's now out of print, but actually, like, this is the best book that I can possibly pass you towards for design if you're just dipping your toe into design. Although it's for knitting, the whole information will translate into crochet as well. So if you're looking for a good resource, this is like the go-to book that I would push. I had a look for it the other day online because I think I probably just wanted a backup copy. You can still get it. You can get it secondhand through like World of Books, Abe Books. There might have been some on Amazon that I saw when I did the Google search as well. So they will most likely all be secondhand. But this book is an absolute gem for starting a design journey, or for starting to tweak patterns that you've bought or are free for your size and your specification. Really, I'll put all the details, including the ISBN number, into the drop down box. This would be my go-to, great resource. I never want to be without that book. It's always the one that I reach for first. I also wanted to show you, let me have a slurp first because I have a bit of a frog in my throat today. I am contemplating making myself another kin jumper, or maybe the cardigan, depending on how that works, in cotton as a bit of a summer weight, like layering thing for when you know when it just gets a little bit chillier at night or first thing in the morning. So I'm gonna have a crack at that at some point. I have a knitted jumper. I started my Astrid knitted jumper, so maybe when that is done I will start a crocheted jumper or cardigan. But my go-to cotton now, I started using this last year, so if you need a really good cotton that crochets beautifully, I also believe it would knit beautifully because it's got quite a high twist on it, is Krea Deluxe organic cotton. It's really beautiful to work with. The stitch definition is great in it. It's organic, which I love. And this is 165 meters for 50 grams, so that bangs it straight into that sport weight. So whilst this is a little bit lighter than the yarn, which I think is the Easteroo's a light DK at 284 meters per 100 grams. This is lighter, but cotton has got no give, so that would give it a bit more drape. I still think it would work with Kin Cardigan a Jumper done with a 5mm hook. So I'm going to have a play and see if I can translate one, maybe both of the patterns into cotton for a summer weight. I think it's just quite interesting to see if you can use the same pattern across two weights and have jumpers or cardigans that would go right the way through the year for you for those kind of seasonal transitions. That's further down the line. That will happen at some point. The other thing that I finished, and I wanted to show you, these are standard socks, like it's my standard recipe. It's kind of loosely based on the Winnick Mum sock recipe, but I changed the depth of the heel and I changed the toe to do a rounded toe because I hate a wedge toe on sock. I think it looks really ugly, so I do a rounded toe instead. But I wanted to show you this yarn because I've never used it before. I've never been like a user of Stylecraft yarn. I know lots of people love it, and I know crocheters really love it. It's just a bit heavy on the acrylic content for my liking, but the sock yarn that they have is called Head Over Heels, and this one is within there. I think it's Based in Nature range is what they call it, and this colourway is called Saunter. And I felt, to be honest, I fell in love with the colourway. And when I felt it in the yarn shop, I got this from Black Sheep Wools up in near Warrington at Colchester. It felt not dissimilar to like Opal and Regia, and it's the same blend, 75% virgin wool, 25% acrylic, polyamide. And I thought, well, let's just nylon. And I thought, well, let's give it a whirl. I haven't worn these yet because I wanted pristine socks to show you, and also it's really warm. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend it. I loved knitting with it. I would give it a go if you haven't tried the Stylecraft Head Over Heels yet. The only thing I would say is if you are a really precise colour change person, if you like, with these Feral type socks, really crisp, no changeover of the colour, I don't think that there are little blips where I don't think there should be blips. I've got a bit here where there's a colour change that really shouldn't be there, and it isn't there on the other sock, so it would have been almost a full one round of colour that shouldn't have been there. So the yarn is really nice. If you don't care about that, then great, but if you really care about having matchy socks where the ball is consistent in its colour changes, then maybe this will not be the yarn for you, because like I say, there are little blips. I don't really mind them. This is annoying to me though. I quite like precision. What a surprise. But it's on the toe, so I don't really care, but the colour changes are not neat enough if that's what you're pushing it as, with those really crisp, consistent colour changes. As for the yarn, really enjoyed working with it, and I will give feedback on how these wear. But this Feral yarn, whether it's Regia, Opal, Wish Yorkshire Spinners, I love working with it. It just makes me want to knit the next section and the next section and the next. I find it really compulsive knitting, and I only ever wear hand knitted socks pretty much, so I'm never short of adding another pair into my collection. All linked in the drown drop box. All linked in the drop down box for you. Right, slurp. I feel like I'm racing through it today because I've got quite a lot that I want to talk to you through. This weekend I am going, maybe I'll see some of you there, I'm going to be at the RiverKnits Open weekend. It's on Sunday the 18th of May, so if you are watching this on the Wednesday that it's going out, happy hump day to you, and maybe you want to come. It's at Wiedenbeck in Northamptonshire. It's a really lovely day out. They open up their studio and they invite some other vendors there, so it's like a little mini festival, and I'm going to be there doing a 20-minute, half an hour talk on refining crochet. I haven't completely got it all down yet, but I was lying in bed thinking about it this morning and all the beats that I want to hit with the talk. Now, if I can, I will record it, if I can, and then I'll pop it up as a video, a YouTube video afterwards. Again, like light touch, no real editing. Here you go, this is what I did for a talk. I'm not going to waste my life doing loads of editing anymore. I'm so done with that. Perfection is entirely overrated. So that will be on the 18th, 1 o'clock. If you want to come and join me, hopefully I'll see some of you there. That would be really nice. I'll pop information down below. It's a ticketed event, but you can buy tickets on the door. There's a local coffee brewer that's going to be doing cakes and bits and pieces in the local coffee. There are a couple of antique shops, like vintage antique shops on the site, which are really nice. There's a bookshop, there's another cafe, there's also a craft beer emporium there as well. So I think Matthew's maybe going to come down with me for the day, and he's going to sit and maybe drink stout in the sun, and then I'll drive us home. So I will be there. It'd be lovely to see some of you there if you're about. That'd be really nice. Right, what's next? What else have I got to tell you? I got, where is it? It's under here. I'm a member of my local Spinners Weavers Dyers Guild in Alsager, and there's about 30 of us, just under 30 of us, and really mixed ages. And one of our oldest members, Judith, who is hilarious, she has quite an acerbic wit to her, but she came in with a massive bag of yarn, and I saw it in her hands. I was like, you're really interesting, and she was giving it away for free. And what Judith had was 2.5 kilos of the funkiest yarn I think I've ever seen in my life, and I couldn't say no. Given that I'm doing all of this stuff on the blog posts on floof and mohair, I just couldn't say no. Are you ready? Oh my word. One, look at the shine on it, but two, look at those big old loops of mohair. I had never come across this brand before. They're called Milan Tricot. I think this is like vintage yarn, and the type of Milan Tricot is Momo. I can find no reference to it on the internet. I can barely find any photos of Milan Tricot on the internet. There is some stuff in the yarn information on Ravelry. But it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. It is 95% mohair, 2% acrylic and 3% polyester. But the loops on it are just, I've never seen anything like it. It's so fluffy. It's so fluffy. And like I say, I have 2.5 kilos of this. Now, initially I was thinking I would maybe make, do you remember when Björk first came out? And Björk always had in space buns and silk dresses, and then little cropped tops that were fluffy and mohair or with quite a wide funnel neck. And I thought it would be really fun to kind of emulate a Björk jumper. So I might make that with some of it, but then I'm also thinking if I hold this double, I could probably crochet up a really warm, thick amazing rug for inside the house. So I'm going to get a hook into this and see what it does. But I'm honestly, this is what you'd probably call, it's somewhere in between a floof and a boucle yarn, because a boucle generally has got these curls in them. I couldn't sound more Scottish if I tried. Curls. So it's kind of in between floof and boucle, but it just needs to be played with. I think crochet is going to be easier than knitting, but I will test both and see what happens. If you've ever seen anything like this before, can you please let me know? I think this had been in Judith's brother's attic, because her sister-in-law, I think, was a bit of a yarn hoarder. I think this is maybe like 30, 40 years old, and it's in mint condition. It's been kept in a bag, it was bagged up, and I'm going to have some fun with this. This might be like a little bit of summer fun for me. But it's beautiful. It's so cool. Looking forward to having a play with that. Another slurp. So, leading on from that, I had a question in, the question was, what is floof, basically? And I would say that floof is, usually it is referring to like that mohair silk lace weight yarn that I am doing the big deep dive on. But as the industry has changed and grown, I think it now also includes anything that is an alpaca instead of the mohair as a substitute, and also anything that is more like the brushed cotton that you could get. I checked in with my lovely tech editor Deb and said, is there ever any other term for it? Do any of the other people that you edit for call it anything else other than floof? And we both decided that floof was the main way of describing it. So basically it's almost like what would have previously been called an art yarn or a fancy yarn. And it doesn't even have to be lace weight, but it's anything that's got that really fuzzy, fluffy halo to it. And by halo, I mean like this, where you can really see all the fibres coming out from the core of the yarn. So that is what a floof is going to do. It's going to be very floofy. Even though you might use it with a smaller hook, it's going to fill up the space. It's not got a really tight twist on it. So you're going from what might look like a standard yarn into something that is just very fibrous, lots of flyaway fibres to it. That is what a floof is. But I don't think it specifically is mohair and silk. It could be cashmere, it could be alpaca, it could be cotton, it could be merino. It's the way it's being treated and manufactured that makes it a floof. And I have some floof that I would say is almost a chunky or a heavy DK or an Aran. So it isn't specifically lightweight, but that is what I would say a floof is. So if anybody else refers to a floof, that's what it is. Please feel free to ask me questions, by the way, because I'm very happy to answer them and increase my knowledge, because if I don't know the answer, I will ferret away and find the answer and come back to you with it in the comments. And I can't believe half an hour is nearly up, but I just have one thing to show you, and I did not finish it, but I am so close to the finish line with this. I have worked my backside off in the last 2 weeks to almost finish a positivity spiral jumper. I have I'm so close, but I had to go to bed last night. I just have that amount of ribbing to do on the cuff, and then it is done and I can wash and block it. I have done the collar, I have done the ribbing at the bottom. Oh, I even have, was that my hook in there? The other arm is done. I did the whole arm yesterday because I was desperate to show you a finished positivity spiral jumper. Oh, so close. This will get finished today. I will have it washed and blocked. I might even take this on Saturday, so if you're maybe coming to Wiedenbeck on Saturday, this might be finished. But what the washing and blocking, can you see where I've put decreases in here? Because in this version I've done some decreases after the underbust. All of that will come out and the stitches will just really present beautifully. And what will also happen can you see that the ribbing is ever so slightly on the wonk, it's on the diagonal. So when I wash and block that, that is going to pull up and straighten up. So I will show you that in 2 weeks' time, because whilst I failed at my own target of having this done by today, I am so close. I'm taking that as a win, and I will show you a washed and blocked version. Maybe the weather will be cool enough for me to wear this, but Positivity Spiral, after 5 or so years, is en route. Like, I nearly have a finished item, and I love it. This has been a love-hate relationship with this jumper, and I am definitely in the love phase with it. Right, my lovely, lovely folks, thank you as ever for spending some time with me. I'm done. I'm out. I have everything said that I wanted to say. So maybe I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you. I'm weaving.